Hi everyone, I'm Bonita from Pennies to Dollars and welcome back to my channel where we talk about frugal living, saving money, cutting expenses with some Depression era tips thrown in there because my parents were Depression era. So let's get started today talking about ways that I am going to save money this next year that I have ignored in the past. I think there's a lot of little things that I never really thought about before this year. And as things continue to rise in prices, I have thought more about ways that I could save money that I have ignored. Things in the past that I thought took too much time, things that I just dismissed as that's not important. But now I'm seeing the importance in every little thing. I looked at my electric company website the other day, and they said that prices are going up March 1st, 2024, not only for our base price, but also by the kilowatt. So I am looking at every little way I can save because as things continue to rise, I have to find that wiggle room in my budget. So, one of the ways that I have dismissed in the past is all of those little surveys that are at the bottom of some of the receipts. Now, not the ones that like enter you for a drawing, but the ones that actually will save you money. Like our Dillon's stores will give you 50 points off of your fuel points if you fill out their survey on certain receipts. That is 50 cents a gallon off of gas. So I need to take the time to fill those out. I bet I haven't filled out more than one or two of those in the past. But if I take the time to do that and then I get my gas at Dillon's, I can save 50 cents a gallon. So I would say that is worth the couple of minutes it takes to fill that out. Also, McDonald's, if you ever go there, has a buy one, get one free, and you have to use it within 30 days. So if you happen to go there and maybe use your app and get a good deal like I did the last time, you can use that receipt if you're going to go back in the next 30 days. Make sure that survey is filled out within 7 days of your visit, and you can get something free on your next trip to town. I have found that things that take minimal time like that are things that I will put off or I will forget about or I will dismiss. For instance, I had a Christmas gift that maybe would take me 2 minutes to wrap, and I took 2 hours to talk myself into doing the last Christmas present when I'd already done so many. So sometimes it takes just a little bit of talking ourselves into doing something, but many times it's worth it in the future. So I'm going to try to watch for those things that just take a couple of minutes that will actually save my money and just make myself sit down and do them. I also am going to pay more attention to knowing my limits this next year as I'm going into 2024 retired for the first time. When I was working, I kept my checking account balance at about $1,300 to $1,500. That was like my operating income that I worked with. I knew it would cover everything I needed that month, and I didn't spend above that. Everything else went into savings. Well, now that I'm not working, I'm only going to keep $700 to $800 in my checking account, and that will be enough for me to operate my home, my finances, and everything else can go into savings. So I've looked at what I actually need and I know my limits and I'm lowering that amount. We have also changed how we eat. We eat smaller portions. We've lost weight. We didn't need all of that. And we substitute now more things like ground sausage, ground pork, pork steak, for hamburger. Hamburger has gone up 16% this past year. So if you thought you saw beef prices raising, You were right. So we buy very little hamburger and beef now, and we substitute with other less expensive meats. And as some of you know, we went from bottled water to just refilling our jugs over this past year. That has saved us a lot of money because those bottled water packs can cost anywhere from $3.99 on sale all the way up to about $9. And through our holiday season, we even got our family to adapt to those during their visits. We put out cups. I have an ice container with a scoop, and we put out the jug water, and they just refilled their cups, and it worked out beautifully. And we saved a lot of money doing that. I'm also going to try my hand at growing some easy, simple scraps from the grocery store of foods that I've never eaten and never tried. Things like bok choy and leeks, I'm going to add to the things that I'm already growing because I can substitute them for onions and for celery and for other things in my soups, my stews, and my casseroles. And I'm going to try to make a point of asking about senior discounts when we go places. I have a tendency to forget to do that and then think of it later. My husband is also a veteran, so we can get veterans discounts. There's also military discounts, school teacher discounts, and a lot of others. So even if it's 50 cents off of something or 10% off of something, that makes a huge difference when you're trying to scrape up enough extra for things like those electric bill increases. And then, do you remember back in the day when we drove 55 miles an hour? They said that it conserved fuel. And I'm going to go back to trying to slow down in everything that I do because I find that if I try to rush, I end up making stupid mistakes that cost me money. And even in driving, I'm finding that I am comfortable driving at about 60. Yes, I've graduated into one of those people that a lot of people pass. But I remember they told us that you could conserve fuel at 55. So if I just slow down, I can let the other people pass me by, their gas gauges can go down, and mine doesn't. As well as hopefully I will make better decisions going forward if I slow down and think a little bit more about what I'm getting ready to do and if it makes sense for my budget. And many of you know that when I do my budget, that I carry forward negative balances month to month if I happened to go over that month because maybe I found a good deal and so I stocked up on something. So I am going to continue to carry forward those negative balances. But in the past, I've also carried forward my positive balances, and I'm no longer going to do that. If I didn't spend it all that month, I'm going to start fresh the next month with my grocery budget, my gas budget, anything like that that is controllable. And then when I go forward, I'm going to try to stay in the new budget for the month and consider all of it that I was able to save last month as extra money for my savings. That way, if I need it for something else, it's there. So I hope some of these ways that I've ignored that I'm going to start doing might give you some ideas of some things that you can do in your own household that maybe you have ignored that you can start doing to save money. If you think of any that I have not mentioned, please mention them in the comments below because we would all like to learn from each other and save money in this new year. Thanks for watching today, and I hope you have a great week.